Yo, it's your boy Dctree, and this is Dctree-Nation, the channel on YouTube that covers hoops and heroes. And today we're talking hoops. We're talking about San Antonio Spurs, y'all. And we're talking a familiar problem that we have had for a while now. The Spurs are just too small, man. Against the Mavs tonight, man, they just looked like little people, like midgets, man. Like, forgive me for using the M word, but it just looked like little people out there. And it just brings me back to in the summer where I was begging for this team to draft a big man. So when I see Porzingis out there looking like Shaq, I can't help but get upset.
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
And I get that Primo looks good, and I get that he is a fun player to watch, and he's the future of this team and all that. And I'm not saying that the Spurs are wrong for picking Primo, but I just hope the people on the channel understand why I was like reluctant to pick Primo. And we're seeing it live and in color because Popovich or the Spurs in general just won't play him. There's just not enough minutes for him. So it makes more sense to go for big man. So when they drafted Primo, that's why I reacted the way I did.
That's it? That's the best you got?
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
And don't get me wrong, I'm still a Primo fan. I think he is silky smooth, but we just don't have the playing time for him or have the coaching staff that's willing to just sit some of our slower players and put a rookie ahead of the game. And I just know that's just not the nature of this coaching staff. So with that in mind, I couldn't help but wonder and desire a big man where he's a rookie and we're forced to play him because our big man situation is weak, man. It's really weak. Dude, we're smaller than Vegeta was against Broly.
Damn it, he's learning as he fights.
Don't get me wrong. I understand we have two big men out because of COVID protocols. Jakob would have made a huge difference tonight, a huge difference in the last couple of games. But when you think about Landale, he's not going to make much of a difference, not because he isn't a solid player, but because Pop won't play him. So it just makes me wonder, like, man, do we really need Sagoon? And if you're a fan of the channel, I mentioned this guy so much, and I know you're tired of me bringing him up, but he's in Houston averaging about 20 minutes per game, 10 points, 4 rebounds. Man, we could really use this guy. We could use the size, we could use the passing, we could use the fouls at this point. So it's just frustrating seeing us struggle so badly in the paint defensively, knowing that we spent our last 2 lottery picks on more guards. Vassell looks good, but you know, at least he's playing. Primo, this joker is in Austin, so it's just frustrating. Sagoon probably will be playing right now. But before I jump too deep into it, if you like my content, please sub to the channel, hit that like button, and don't forget to hit that notification bell for more videos. Thank you so much for the continued support. Okay guys, please don't take this video as a bashing of Primo or even a sense of regret for getting Primo. I mean, it could still work out. It's still early. You know, he's still young. He's 18. He could come out and be one of the best players, you know, on this team easily in a couple years, maybe even sooner than that. So I leave room to be wrong. And I don't even too much like saying that I'm wrong, because I'm not necessarily saying Primo is a bad pick or the Spurs are wrong for that. I just see the need for size for this season and moving forward, because you got to think about it. We no longer have, you know, Luka as, you know, that young prospect that we're developing. You know, we could have used a Sagoon to develop, even if he did go to Austin or whatnot. Because clearly this team needs size, because against, you know, even mid-level teams like the Mavs, we're getting hurt inside. I'm talking about destroyed inside. Even in the games where things were close earlier this season, we're getting destroyed inside, man. It was embarrassing. So when I see things like that, I'm like, man, why aren't we drafting bigs? You know, why aren't we doing that? And I mean, it's just this continuous push to put Keldon at the 4 spot when really he's a 3. He's a small forward, and we keep putting him at the power forward position, and it's harder for him to finish over bigger players because he's just not that big. He's like 6'5", 6'6". He's the same height as some of our guards, and we're asking him to do so much. And then Pop finally decides to play Thaddeus Young consistent minutes, which is great. But then you realize against a team like the Mavs, against bigger teams, that Thaddeus Young is undersized himself. And that's just just a staple of his game. He's always been undersized. So it's not a knock against him or even a knock against Keldon. It's more than a knock against the strategy as a whole. Are we just giving up on having size or playing bigger players? Are we really going small? And the thing about going small, that's not necessarily a horrible strategy in today's NBA. But when you factor in the rule changes and you factor in the fact that the Spurs aren't very well at shooting and, aren't very good at shooting the three, it's like, man, maybe we do need a back to a basket, his back to the basket type of player to get some easy buckets because, we're not, knockdown shooters like the Warriors. We're not knockdown shooters like Luka and those guys on the Mavs. So it just begs the question, man, maybe we should have got Sagoon or at least released the Kraken, aka Primo, in my opinion. And I'm not trying to sound like a homer or anything like that, because obviously we don't have the size to really compete night in and night out. So you have to put all your power, all your strategy into the guard position, into the wing positions. So with that said, you might as well give Primo a shot. Give him a 3-4 game stretch to play significant minutes in the NBA and watch him fail, if that's what he's going to do, so he can get the experience, so he can get better. I don't know if a player like Primo really gets better in Austin. It's just like, he's probably fine-tuning some things, but you have to throw him into the fire. What do we have to lose? We're 4-8. Throw him out there. And then on top of that, and I know people are going to kill me in the comments for saying this, your boy Derek White is falling off. If you notice, 0 points, 2 points, 5 points in his last 3 games, man. I mean, I'm not saying cut him, God no, because he's been great defensively, but maybe you trim his minutes just a little bit, and trim someone else's minutes, Lonnie, just a little bit. And then you give Primo a solid 10 minutes a game just to see what happens. Experiment, Pop. Experiment with it, dog. Come on, man. What do we have to lose? All right, guys, this is it for this one. Just a little venting on my part about our size and our decision making. It's still early. I'm still pro Spurs. Go Spurs, go. I'm still rocking with this team. We shall see what happens. All right, guys, thank you for kicking it with me, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.